It's the semi-finals at the Paris Olympics. We've got Djokovic, we've got Musetti, we've got Alcaraz and Felix Auger-Aliassime. Who's going to make the final? Who's going to win the gold medal? We're going to give you our predictions on this preview.
That's right, Ben. It is semi-final time at the Paris Olympics. And I'm going to start off with the big news, and that is Novak Djokovic advancing, winning a really close match against Stefanos Tsitsipas, which was really one-sided in the end because it was straight sets. But all of the questions are now on, will Novak Djokovic be fit for the semi-final? We know there was a problem with his knee. He sort of jolted it at the start of the second set. He then went down quite quickly, 4-love down, and somehow Stefanos Tsitsipas did what he did best. Threw the match away. We saw the backhand shanks. Djokovic was drop shot and he didn't have much to really offer. He was visibly in pain with his knee. Let's be fair.
Yeah.
It was an injury which impacted him, and yet he managed to win this match. So you can see some images here. The comeback is enough to define the legacy of Novak Djokovic, is the caption. He was 4-love down in the second. He was almost 5-1 down with a break point there. And 5-3, 40-love, to which Tsitsipas got broken. It went to a tie break, and he lost the tie break.
Yeah, I mean, isn't it crazy? You see a scoreline like that, especially someone of Tsitsipas's high standard, and it just goes to show that mentality just means everything in tennis, because despite Djokovic's injury, Tsitsipas just mentally not strong enough to close out a set in such a strong position. I thought that second set was gone for love. That was my personal opinion, and when I saw him struggling with the knee, I thought it's definitely gone now. But
I mean, you could say the second set, but do you think the match was gone? Like, I understand you can never underestimate Novak Djokovic, but he looked down and out. He was injured, and Tsitsipas faltered so much. Like, he just cannot handle it. He's mentally too weak. He is a declining player, and I don't know what my assessment is of him right now. I don't know if you want to bring up the tweet, and we'll speak about what someone said about Tsitsipas.
Oh. 1 second. Where's that one? Thought you were going to talk about the Djokovic injury.
No, we will, but I want to just speak about Tsitsipas first.
No problem. Right,
it's Tom Jones. So he said, not being able to take out a depleted Djokovic from a double break and 3 set points is the ultimate example of how Tsitsipas has regressed and been scarred. Where is Stefanos Tsitsipas in the rankings right now? Where do you put him as a top player? I would put him outside of the top 10. I think he is between the 10 and 20 mark. And I don't consider him no longer a top 10 player. And that's not because of his ability, because ability-wise he's certainly in there. The whole package of him as a player, him and his dad together, is a dangerous duo. And they're never going to win a Grand Slam together. And at the moment, they're not going to be doing very well against any of the top athletes. Alcaraz, Medvedev, Djokovic, any of these guys, Sinner, no chance at all.
Well, it's lucky you did put him between 10 and 20, because that's where he is. He's at number 11. He's not in the top 10. And, he's in a gradual decline, it would seem, at the moment. He really needs to do something, buck his ideas up. I know that we're not really here to speak about Tsitsipas. We're here to speak more about the people who have gone through. But it is a person that is a top tennis player and has made it to 2 slam finals. And now he's finding himself in big, advantageous positions in matches. And this is a big match as well. He was saying the whole week, oh my God, it's so amazing to be playing for Greece. I can't believe I'm here.
He's a wasted talent, because he is really good and he is a top 10 player. But just as a package right now, what we see from him is nowhere near the levels. But back to Novak Djokovic, because it's not a Tsitsipas episode. I asked you the question earlier. Do you think he's going to play?
Yeah, I think he will. I think he will play. I'll just to rewind to what you were saying. Like, obviously, you were concerned that he may even lose the match. I still had hope that if he lost that second set, if he just allowed it to go like fairly easily, like maybe it was a 6-1 or something like that, he would be saving himself for that third set just to really put a bit extra in just to try and get it over the line. Didn't even have to at the end of the day. I feel that he did just enough. And some of the shots that he was able to pull off while still injured, I was so impressed by Novak Djokovic. Considering he had this injury, on the stretch was still doing passing shots past Tsitsipas. I mean, this guy's made of something like special. We've said it so many times before, and we've seen it so many times at Roland Garros this year as well, when he was struggling. He's doing it again, but he's coming up against Musetti again. Where do we go?
Yeah, credit to Novak Djokovic. What a beast of a player. I agree. There was a few moments where Tsitsipas was putting some pressure on him, and somehow he found some really good winners under that pressure because his movement was compromised with the knee. It was clear. But yet, his shot making, decision making, serving at times was so good that he didn't need his full mobility and movement to be able to beat someone who is, I don't know how many years younger, 10 years younger, something like that.
Yeah, it must be.
And this is what Djokovic had to say anyway. He said, "I'm very worried. Honestly, I don't know what to say. I finished the match and the intense pain went away. Whether I hit myself or slipped, I don't even know. It all resembled the fourth round of Roland Garros where I managed to finish the match, and then I found out I was injured. I am pleased with the victory, but I am worried." He's also spoke to Serbian media. There's that guy, which name eludes me. We've met him before at Wimbledon.
I was going to say Sasha Osma, wasn't it?
Yeah, Sasha Osma. And he was coming out saying how it's a big doubt. He spoke to Djokovic. He's not sure if he's going to be playing. And I think we're going to see him out there. But there is a real possibility that he does pull out mid-match. What happened at Roland Garros with the knee, he really started to feed it the next day. He managed to get through that match, remember, and beat Cerundolo with the injury, through the whole adrenaline of everything, and then required surgery on his knee. I don't think, obviously, the same things happened again, but I think he's probably irritated his knee after coming back from surgery. He's played a lot of tennis since then. Yeah. And on that basis, I believe what could happen is, if Musetti is to take a first set and look quite strong, we could see Djokovic completely crumble altogether, or, which, fair enough, him pull out of the match completely through injury. Because you never know. Let's see how he wakes up tomorrow morning. If there is problems with the knee, he is not going to risk it. Even though how much this Olympic means to him, it's not worth jeopardising the US Open and the rest of this season, let's be fair, because if something else happens on top of that, it could even influence his whole career. It could have really everlasting damage. So he's going to have to put his body first, and tomorrow is going to be the big day to find out where we're at with things. Right now, I do think he's going to do everything he can to be playing, because he knows if he wins, he's guaranteed a medal, gold or silver. If he loses, he can still get the bronze, but that's not really what he's there for.
Got one of them. Doesn't really want the bronze medal, I'm sure. I think he'll probably pull out before he goes for bronze, if I'm perfectly honest. No point putting any extra stress on the knee just for another bronze medal. He'll be looking towards the US Open if he's unable to get this. I mean, another slam would be the perfect remedy if he misses out on a gold medal. And like Bastian Fucken says here, 5 Olympic appearances, 4 singles semi-finals, Beijing in 2008, London 2012, Tokyo 2020, Paris 2024. The greatest Olympian never to reach a gold medal match. Does that change tomorrow? I mean, he couldn't be coming up against, I mean, we know we always say it with Lorenzo Musetti, but somebody in inspired form and having a brilliant season, and now has just beaten the Roland Garros finalist in Sasha Zverev in straight sets as well. Not even just, a struggle through a 3-setter, 7-5, 7-5. And Lorenzo Musetti, I know you've been saying there's some surprise winners sometimes in these Olympic matches. We saw Iga go out earlier on against Kim Win-jeng in the women's. Djokovic Musetti, I mean, if there's anyone who's a danger on a clay court, it's Lorenzo Musetti right now. I mean, it's scary for Djokovic.
Yeah, the Olympics does always bring up some surprises, and Vekic could win a gold medal, which we didn't expect to happen at all. And I kind of feel like Musetti is in that same kind of bracket. It could even happen. He beats Djokovic, then beats Alcaraz, or something weird like that. It feels like it's so nailed on for Carlos Alcaraz, but it felt so nailed on for Iga, and look what happened there.
Yeah.
I wouldn't say there was that much difference. Probably Iga more of a favourite, if anything. So Musetti, I spoke to you, I think, a few days ago and said I really do believe in him. I think he's going to go far. He was kind of my dark horse for the Olympics, and nothing has changed. And I'm really pleased he beat Zverev, because it made me feel like I'm right in some of the things I say. And now we get to see a good match against Novak Djokovic. And if you just go back to that Bastian Facken tweet,
Sure.
I didn't get to say what I wanted to say, and that was, it doesn't really bode well for Novak Djokovic in the Olympics. As much as he's like, okay, the greatest Olympian never to reach a gold medal match, he's now played 4 semi-finals and lost all of them.
Yeah.
So he clearly doesn't do very well with the pressure of his nation in these Olympic semi-final matches. Is that going to help Musetti, someone who he's beaten more times than not? I believe the head-to-head, is it 5-1 you had up earlier?
Sorry, yeah, I'll just bring it up. It's 6-1 now against Musetti.
6-1. And the last one was, of course, at Wimbledon, at the semi-final stage. They played at Roland Garros as well. Djokovic has had his number this year, won all 3 matches, Monte Carlo, Roland Garros, Wimbledon, and Musetti won the year before at Monte Carlo. Who knows what's going to happen? We're going to give our prediction in a bit, I'm sure.
Yeah.
But let's maybe move on to some of the other matches before we give our prediction.
Yeah, no better place to move over. I know that we were saying, sort of touching on Iga being the big favourite on the women's. We were expecting her. I thought she was going to walk it. That was my personal opinion. A lot of people were saying the same for Carlos Alcaraz on the men's. Like, if he stays fit and he's playing well. Well, he had a real test today. I mean, this match against Tommy Paul. I mean, Tommy Paul really knows how to take the match to Carlos Alcaraz. But he still has that momentary slip, which is trying to serve out for a set. And unfortunately for Tommy Paul, just at the big moment, he just couldn't do it. And Alcaraz, this is what makes him so great. He holds his nerve and plays his best tennis when the chips are down and he needs to pull out a big shot. And when he broke to get back on serve, it was just one of those moments in a tennis match which you just think, that's just so Carlos Alcaraz, that one. He slid across and Paul was at the net and it was out of his reach, really, but he still got a racket on it. He whizzed it down the line and Tommy Paul just had to just watch it go past and just thought, he just saw all his hopes and dreams for the Olympics go past him with that tennis ball, essentially. No third set, and you knew that he was going to lose that set. I mean, my personal opinion, as soon as he broke back, Carlos Alcaraz was winning in straight sets.
Yeah, I mean, his hope was slightly restored later on in the doubles because he managed to knock out Andy Murray. The Americans doing a number on Team GB there.
He said as well, he's like, I want to knock him out. I want to retire Murray. How dare you, Tommy Paul?
Nah, they were both very respectful to Murray on the court, and it was an emotional moment. We'll speak about that in a sec.
Yeah.
But before that, there was a few tennis journalists calling for Tommy Paul and Carlos Alcaraz as one of the best matchups in tennis right now, and I can understand it.
Yeah.
Because people necessarily wouldn't look at what's Tommy Paul, 9th seed or something like that.
I think he's quite a high seed, yeah.
And Alcaraz right up there as maybe not as good as say a 1 or 2 or a 2 and a 3 or something like that, but it really does bring together such a good matchup. I've never watched a bad matchup between them. You see some really good, entertaining rallies. It's one you want to buy a ticket to watch live, and Tommy Paul does bring out the best in Alcaraz, and I think Alcaraz brings the best out in him. Their game styles complement each other, and what we got to see today, like you said, was a really good affair in which Alcaraz always seems to have that extra moment in the big moments. When he's serving out for a set, Tommy Paul, he can break him. In a tie break, he can just clinch it. And it's not much between them, and it's fine margins, but Alcaraz just has that little bit more. And there was something I wanted to speak about, and this is what Tommy Paul had to say on Carlitos. He said, it's not a secret that right now Alcaraz is kind of like the golden standard. You use him to go to the practice court and see what you can change the next time you play him. Where's it gone?
I'm saying because everyone wants to play at his level right now is the final
Sorry,
part.
I was reading it in small and it disappeared.
No worries. Yeah, he is the gold standard. I mean, when you play against Carlos Alcaraz, he's improving all the time, though. That's the problem. So each time you go to play him next, he's leveled up like another time. So Tommy Paul today is one of the best Tommy Pauls I've ever seen. And that is compliments to Tommy Paul. He actually battered Alcaraz off the court in that second set. I've never seen Alcaraz look like he was struggling to get balls back in. He's normally so quick around the court, but the power Tommy Paul was hitting with at the angles, the inside-out forehand was brilliant. And the way he was sort of doing a bit of a JG step in with the forehand down the line. It was one of those ones, stepping in and just whipping it into the corner. It was incredible. But you can do all of that throughout the whole set. It doesn't matter, because as soon as you get to the number 5 in the set, you have to be able to hold your nerve, and he can't hold his nerve against Carlos Alcaraz at that big moment.
Yeah, the other match, Felix beating Ruud.
Yeah.
Felix was serving for the second set. I was watching this one live, and I was thinking, here we go. He's thrown this away, Felix, and he played really well. A lot of moments, even in that tie-break where he lost, I thought he was playing catch-up at times, but looked quite good and still couldn't hold on. And I was thinking, okay, this third set is going to be done. I was really confident Casper Ruud now then goes on to win the third. And Felix surprised me. He managed to maintain his level from the first and second set, because he wasn't bad in the second set. And rather than his head dropping, he rose to the occasion and outplayed Ruud for large spells of it. And Ruud, I saw him on Twitter afterwards saying, is there any tickets for the golf? Because he's going to watch the golf, and someone in the Olympics helped him out, so he's got tickets for that. We know he's a big golf fan, and I'm sure he's going to be happy just watching the golf rather than playing the tennis, because, I don't know, I sometimes question if he would rather play golf than tennis. But Felix, he does very well for his country. He becomes the first Canadian player in history to reach the Olympic semi-final in singles, and the history of him for Canada is quite impressive. You can see 2022 ATP Cup champion defeating Zverev, Davis Cup champion defeating Alcaraz, Musetti, and now 2024 Olympic medal defeating Medvedev and Ruud on a clay court.
Yeah, I mean, I feel like he's the biggest surprise for this whole Olympic competition, like by far. He's somebody we know who has...
on the men's, but not on the women's.
Yeah, not on the women's, but he's got a stack load of talent, but we just don't ever get to see it. Could he be the one, which is the one who could walk away with the gold medal? Because we see crazy stuff at the Olympics. He's stepped up. He's just beaten a guy who was a 2-time Roland Garros finalist in Casper Ruud. I mean, not in the best form, Casper Ruud, but somebody who is a sort of... I know we're saying Alcaraz is a gold standard. I think Casper Ruud is Roland Garros, a gold standard. If you can beat Casper Ruud at Roland Garros, then you're playing some pretty good tennis, because he's not an easy player. He is such a consistent player on those courts of Roland Garros. Felix looks very good, and if you're Alcaraz right now coming into this match, let's have a look at their head-to-head, because they're pretty even. 3 apiece between Felix and Alcaraz.
One thing we need to be careful with is keep coining the term Roland Garros. This is not really Roland Garros. It's a best-of-3 scenario.
True.
And look what happened recently. How many times have we seen these matches go to 5 sets? And Ruud does well over a best of 5 format.
I guess that's why Igor's is more surprising, though, to be honest.
Yeah, Igor's is more surprising, but even that is still not Roland Garros. It's a different time of the year. They've just played on the grass. They're conditioned to play a tennis calendar in a certain way, and you're mixing it up in an Olympic year. It's different. It's not quite a Roland Garros. I've seen a lot of people saying it on social media, saying about, oh, Rafa's lost another match at Roland Garros. It's not quite Roland Garros. Maybe I'm a Rafa fan and I'm just defending him, and that's where this has all come from. But I feel the same in every kind of play when you keep talking about it as Roland Garros. It's not just you. Everyone's doing it.
Yeah.
I myself have been doing it, and I've started to think about it. It's like, it's not really the same. Anyway, head to head.
It is. I know where you're coming from, especially on the men's side. I think because it's a best of three scenario, you can't really look at it in the same way. Yeah, I mean, the women's side, I feel that you can, because it is best of three. Men's not so much. I mean, if you have a look at the head-to-head, though, I know I was saying it's quite close. It's 3-3. Look who won the last three. It's Carlos Alcaraz. The last three meetings all go to him. The first three meetings all go to Felix. And but none of them are on a clay court. You see, they play 5 times on hard courts. There's a couple of indoor hard courts that Felix has won. Outdoor hard court, 2-1 to Alcaraz. And then you can see he hasn't even taken a set from Carlos Alcaraz in the last 3 meetings. So pretty dominant.
Yeah, and that's why I don't read anything into this head-to-head at all. I see it being a very one-sided affair in which I think Alcaraz will be okay. But let's get to the predictions before I give them away too much.
Let's start with that one first.
Yeah, because I feel like I've said it already, and that is going to be Carlos Alcaraz to win in straight sets. And I don't expect Felix to get more than 7 games. I think it's going to be like maybe like 6 games maximum.
I think we could see something slightly more shocking for some reason. I don't think we're going to see Alcaraz lose, but I think that Felix may step up because it's for Canada, it's the Olympics, that type of thing. We see players sometimes, they play better for their country. I think he does play better for his country. I think it's Alcaraz, but I think it's Alcaraz in 3 sets.
Okay, let's move to the other semi-final. The Novak Djokovic, Lorenzo Musetti edition, number 8. We've seen so many on this channel. I feel like we've always given predictions for them together. We've done watch-alongs of these two over the years. There have been some good battles, and Musetti surprised us sometimes, but it always goes the same way, and that is Musetti looks better than him for most of the match and loses.
It's true, isn't it? Why is that?
Because I would say 70% of every match he's played against Djokovic, he's looked better than him, but always looks very comfortable in the fact that he's going to lose. Declines very quickly and peters out all the time.
Yeah, I feel like I don't even want to make the comparison because I don't know if it's fair or not, but he does have a little bit of the Tsitsipas's about him when it comes to playing Novak Djokovic as well. You look like you could beat him, you look amazing, and then you fall apart, and then you get bageled. I don't know what happened in that one in Roland Garros earlier on this year. He looks really good. He was 2-1 up, and then he lost the 4th, and then the 5th set bageled.
And before everyone gets onto me in the comments, because based off that, surely I'm going to be going for Novak Djokovic to win, and I actually would think that's going to happen if it wasn't for the injury. And because of this injury, I have massive doubts on whether Novak Djokovic will be able to play the duration of this match, will be able to compete at all in this match. And on that basis, I'm going to be having Lorenzo Musetti to win. And I think it's going to be, I'm not going to tell you the sets because I'm not sure. It might not even finish. It's going to be, the last time I said this, by the way, it never actually started and he did pull out. I think it was against Casper Ruud. I said the same thing about the Ruud match. I said, I'm not sure if he's going to play. I think he's going to play the first set and then pull out. I'm saying the exact same thing here. I think he's going to try his way through it. It's going to be too painful. His knee's not going to allow him to. And Musetti is going to advance. Just like I called the Casper Ruud one. Just a reminder, you had Djokovic beating Casper Ruud.
I did have Djokovic beating Casper Ruud, and it does seem like it's the same injury again. And there's me with my eyes closed, walking into battle, it seems, just blindly supporting Novak Djokovic. I feel like you when you support Rafa and you just look past all of any injury he has right now. I don't feel like Djokovic can beat him in 3 sets, so I'm just going to have to go Djokovic in straight sets and just hope that the injury is not as bad as what we feared. I think maybe it's going to help him slightly. I'll pop this up on the screen now. That is my prediction anyway, just in case anyone was wondering. It's not a big storyline. I just want to skip past it a little bit. Don't want to dwell on it too much. This is when the matches are tomorrow. First on is Alcaraz versus Felix. That's at 12:30 UK time. And then at 6 in the evening will be Djokovic versus Musetti. Hopefully enough time for that knee to get a little bit more recovery and enough to just help Djokovic through to the final.
There we go. That is our predictions. Let us know yours in the comment section below. And of course, thank you for watching and joining us for another Olympic preview. We'll be doing some post-match reactions tomorrow and some other roundup podcasts. So if you haven't already, hit the like button, subscribe if you're new. And you know where we are. We're on YouTube, we're on Spotify. We're out here, JG and Ben, repping the tennis world.
That's it. See you on the next one.
See you soon.